Welcome back, dweebs. Happy Thursday. Look at that, back-to-back live streams this week. Don't adjust your sets. It is a different egg with me tonight, my dear friend, and some of your dear friends out there, some of you regular viewers. Danny is here, which means we're talking the boys, most likely, right?
Something superhero nerdy or something, I guess. I do have a regular occurrence on your channel for the boys specifically, I guess, but like have we done what else have I done? We did a
Was it
horror
Fallout?
thing.
Yeah, we did a horror one together. You did Fallout, right? Did we do Invincible stuff together, or
I think we did Invincible stuff too,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
just the same difference.
the Amazon eggs are here? Okay,
There you go.
Eventually, we'll get you a discount. 8% off on a Prime order or something. What is up, Jacob? Ooh,
What up,
with
Jake?
a good drop here. The trailer for Fallout Season 2 came out. We will definitely be doing a recording about that. We will have a preview review, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
Danny,
yeah.
have you watched the new trailer for Fallout Season 2?
It's funny because I saw that Jake posted it in our Discord, and I was thinking about it like, oh, great. We haven't even done our Gen V thing yet, and there's already Fallout shit to talk about.
Yeah, so right after this episode, Danny, we'll have to schedule another recording, so that'll be fun. Although that one, we could get James. Maybe we can just get the three of us to get together for a little pre-record or something.
There you go. We're going to chop it up after stream.
I love it. So before we get in to Gen V Season 2, we should probably just kind of get caught up, right, with Gen V Season 1 and the boys, when we last left our heroes type of stuff. So where do we want to begin that one, Danny? Should we run through? I think Gen V Season 1 was first, so that's the oldest part of it. Do we want to start with kind of discussing what happened at Godalkin U the first time around? What do you remember?
So, and honestly, we were talking about it before show. I needed a recap, and because the season starts and you're kind of like you're kind of pushed right into it, with what Marie is doing, and she gets away from their captivity. Is essential. I mean, I guess that's how it all starts, right?
Yeah, it all starts. They are this season 2, right? Starts with her having already escaped, and then the rest of them are getting freed for some reason. So at the end of season 1, it was essentially found out, and forgive me, I can't remember the original dean's name, but they find out that spoilers, right? Big spoilers for season 1 and 4 seasons of the boys. Let me throw it up real quick just to be safe. There we go. Spoilers. Henceforth, you have been warned. So they find out she's trying to come up with some disease that'll wipe out all of the soups, and there's the whole Red River thing that goes on, right? Like they've got this weird little, almost feels like the Stranger Things. They've got this like little secret science lab where they're doing horrible shit to young soups, and so you get them rescued, right, by oh man, you've got the cast in front of you, right? I'm forgetting the character names now, but we have the girl that can change everyone's minds, and then you've got, I believe, Sam, right? Sam is the one who had
Sam or Kate. Sam is the one that is. Sam is the one that's like Superman. He can fly around. He's super strong. His brother died in the first season, whatever. And then Kate is the, yes, she can touch you and make you feel different things.
That's right. A superpower few have. No, but so they set free all of the Red River kids, and they start just running rampant throughout campus, start killing a bunch of people, and then Marie and the main characters, right? Marie, Andre, Jordan, they all step out to be the heroes. And it ends tragically with Homelander showing up and lasering Marie. She somehow survives all of that. And then, yeah, it ends with the good guys being thrown into prison with the two that had broke bad, Kate and Sam, being made out to be the new Guardians of Godolkin. So that was sort of where we last left our heroes.
And then were they, am I recalling correctly that Sam and Kate, we saw them in the last season of The Boys too, correct? Because they were like working in conjunction with Vought. Am I right?
Yeah, we do see them in season 4. I don't think they're in there a ton, but I do recall seeing them. Yeah, they are. And that's what season 4 is. We do start to see these things kind of come together even more so in this last season of Gen V. But
too.
They were in there. And then, of course, that's a good transition into season 4 of The Boys, where that one left off was with, Butcher having that tumor that's like a superpower tumor. Which
tumor.
Did you watch Diabolical, by the way? Did we ever talk about those, the animated?
We definitely talked about it when we spoke on all of this, when we talked about The Boys, because you had said that there was something in Diabolical that like supported all that stuff. Refresh me because I forget now.
It foreshadowed what was going to happen to Butcher. One of the short animated stories that they had was about an elderly couple, and I believe it was the husband against the wishes of his wife, something like that. Puts Gen V in her because it's going to cure her cancer, but instead the V becomes part of the cancer, and then so she's able to, her cancer is like this all-consuming tentacle being, which is a lot of very similar to what we see happen with Butcher, right? He's got this was it Jeffrey Morgan? Is that what's the actors? It's Negan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I knew I was missing something. 3 named Jeff, as I like to call him. He
3 first names. Is that worse than just having 2 first names?
I think it cancels it out, right? Because if it's 2 first names, you cannot trust this person, right? Okay. Those are the rules. It's in our charter. All right. But that 3rd first name, it either makes you super untrustworthy, or is it like a triple negative, and 2 of them cancel each other out and now we're good. One named Jeff. But he plays that role incredibly. There's also the whole situation with the Mimic. So you have Huey unknowingly cheating on Starlight. There's that whole there's that whole subplot. And it gets set up where everybody is trying to pitch this Hail Mary. They're going to team up with the VP because Homelander has completely lost it. He's in full control, right? He got Newman in his pocket, and then through the footage, they're able to get the president-elect arrested because when he's down in his bunker, he's like, if you had just killed the VP when I ordered it, you idiot. So of course that was recorded. So Dakota Bob is out, Newman is out, and I think the Speaker of the House becomes the president, which essentially means that Homelander now is the president. And when everybody's trying to get together to say, well, we can't let this happen, Butcher shows up and just rips Newman in half, right? That's sort of the big climax. And then he just gets to walk out because he's got this weird venom beast sticking out of his chest. And that's about where we leave it. I may be forgetting a couple of minor details there, but that's sort of our back up to speed when we last left our heroes. That's a strong word to use for some of these characters.
Our boys.
There we go. There it is. And so now we're here. We're into Gen V season 2. And one of the first things I wanted to ask you about, Danny, because this is some of the fun for us, is talking about the behind the scenes. Like, we're nerds for the whole thing, right? Not just the comics. Like, we're also nerds about production and knowing how real life impacts the story and adds different challenges. So obviously, the actor who played Andre passed away in between seasons, and so that's a huge hurdle to have to get over. Right? A lot of times when you see that, it's often some feedback of, man, the write off of this character was bad, or if you try to recast, some people are not a fan of that. Here at this program, we are pro recasting, especially as opposed to doing some kind of Grand Moff Tarkin digital Frankensteinness, where we'd rather see you just recast the damn role. But
yes,
how did you feel about what they did? They wrote Andre off in a way that was very impactful throughout the season. Like he's mentioned a lot for a character that is no longer a part of the show. What did you think about that? Do you think they handled it well? Or would you wanted them to have done something different, like a recast?
I agree with what you were saying there. I think they handled it well, and it lasted throughout the season. They continue to talk about him and how he affected each of the students and his dad. I thought that was a very interesting, the way they worked it was very interesting. Like, I feel like typically when they write a character out of a show because of something like this happening, something tragic, they write the character out and then it's almost like that's it. They're completely gone. They're like, I'm not saying they're like thrown out, like being malicious about it, but just like they take the idea of that character and everything about it and it's out of the story entirely. They just remove that person. Whereas this, it's like they build on kind of his already existing character and that impact on everyone. And it continues. I mean, arguably you could say all the way to the end because we already said spoilers, right? We find out that Andre, how they wrote him off was that this is another thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about, Kevin, but I guess they wrote him off as he overexerted himself. And because he had this injury related to his power, like his dad does, or like it affects their brain, I guess, gives him seizures and stuff. And because he overexerted himself, he died in their escape or in their attempted escape. And it affects it all the way to the end because the dad has to also contend with these tremors and seizures or whatever from using his powers. And old girl, as she advances her powers, Marie, with the blood, she ends up being able to fix stuff like that, which is very interesting. But yeah, I wasn't sure exactly. So Cypher, the bad guy of this season, or the face of the bad guy this season, Cypher ends up telling the students or the dad or someone at some point that like the reason why Andre died was because he had the thing wrong with him and he overexerted himself. Basically, they say he committed suicide almost, right? Because he says he knew that he had the same thing as his dad wrong with him, and that he willingly tried to move the metal door, and it was out of the range of his power, and he just ended himself.
Oh yeah, that he does say that, and I think it's good to bring that up because there are sort of two different paths. Because you also get, and this might have been from Cypher as well, so it would just kind of show the levels of manipulation.
Right.
But someone at some point in the season tells Marie essentially that it was on her, that she was the inspiration, that once she was able to escape, then that's when Andre knew he had to do whatever he could do to help the rest of them escape. So I think it's probably somewhere in the middle where he was willing to sacrifice himself to get the others out, maybe more so than it was like a depression end gaming. It was sort of like your heroic exit that you see so often in movies and other stories, where it's like, well, I got a bullet wound, so I'm gonna stick around, I'll hold him off at the door kind of stuff, right? Like you fly, you fools kind of thing. He's Gandalf and this prison is the Balrog, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably somewhere around there would be what happened. But yes, Cypher as manipulative as ever. And man, we may, as we normally do in these reviews, they're kind of more of just a discussion than it is. We're going to start at point A and move all the way down to point Z. So since he's been mentioned already, and because of such a great job by Hamish Linklater, I feel like we got to talk about it. What did you think of Cypher? I thought the actor, I thought Hamish was one of my favorite parts of the whole show, especially once we got to see him as Doug. What did you think?
Hamish Linklater. That's quite the name he's got on him. Well, I will admit I had no idea that it was going to twist the way it did. Can I ask you, and again, this is spoilers, you guys should all be prepared for that. Can I ask you, at what point, what was the give where you knew that Cypher was actually being controlled by Godolkin? Bum, bum, bum.
I think some of the first hints were when he starts like slapping him up and stuff like that. You know, when he's like beating up the old dude and then immediately goes back into doing like those hip flexor or whatever. Like he just starts smacking the shit out of him, and then immediately like just goes right back into, oh yeah, let's work that hip joint like he's some kind of nurse or something. But no, I was a little slower to the punch on this one. I think, you know, I figured it out right around the episode that they were, or the episode before, I think the big reveal, but they did hint at it a little bit throughout. When was it for you? When did it sink in for you?
Well, Shadow says, well, you guys are millennials, right? Yes. My millennial brain, okay, figured it out immediately, okay? No, I'm just kidding. I had no idea until like the very end. But it does give you hints very early, because like the first one is when Marie can tell that he's not a soup. And like that doesn't immediately imply that it's Godolkin, obviously, controlling this guy. But that is where I started thinking about what's going on here. Because she checks his blood, because she's the blood lady. And she can do anything with blood, by the way. We got to get to that at some point. The blood stuff, the blood bending here is fucking crazy. But yeah, she checks his blood and can tell that he's not a soup right from the jump. And that's when my brain started, going like, so what? Does he have like a superpower? Is he so smart that like he knows she's going to scan him? So he's got like the defenses up so she can't scan him. But then I'm like thinking that this is too complicated of a thing for this is the boys. Like he's just got, you can understand the power. They don't really get very convoluted. I mean, my favorite power this season was Black Hole, the fucking the galaxy butthole that can boof fucking shotgun of beers and shit, dude. Fucking do keg stands up his ass.
Man, a character that you think is just there for the bit of it, you know, where it's like, oh hey, it's the boys. We got to pay homage to these ridiculous comics, and so yeah, of course we're gonna have a Venture Brothers-esque character with just a black hole for an anus. But no, he ends up being part of like the final plan, which cracked me up to no end.
I was confused on what kind of like they call him the black hole, so I'm thinking, oh, and then they like reference it too. Like the scientists say something about the black hole guy's butthole, say like, oh, it's infinite in there or whatever, blah blah blah. So like I was thinking, is it literally a black hole? Like it's a actual black hole. It's just a superpower. It's in his butthole or whatever. Or is it just like a infinite space inside of his butthole? Like not like a space black hole, but just like a endless area
Yeah,
inside of there.
are they all floating around in deep space, like just holding their breath until he lets them out? See,
Because he's stuffing people up in there. We got
yeah,
a
he's
whole
got like a
entire
whole
people
squad.
crawling out.
Yeah. See, Danny, I envisioned it. Now, this is me getting my media references. I'm crossing streams here, which I'm not supposed to do, but I envision it as that all white room where Morpheus takes Neo, where they're going to train there. I think he brings Trinity there when they got to grab all their
Yeah.
machine guns. So I just envision the God U gang just kind of hanging out in Neo's waiting room, just like, oh, so where's the door? Like, how do we get out? And one of them's freaking out. Jordan's probably freaking out. Like, we can't get out of here. We're stuck in here forever. The logistics of that hero, I don't know. I'm borderlining between, do I want to know more or
No one
do I know too much
described.
already?
No one describes how it is. They got everybody climbing out of the asshole, but they got nobody saying like, "Man, it was stuffy in there," and they're not coming out with like slime on them or anything. So it's like not like they're actually in an extended like rectum or anything. I don't know what's going on. Okay, that's definitely the most fantastical power yet. But anyways, I guess my point was back to what we were originally talking about. Cypher, pretty dope. I was not. I like the actor and I was not clued in. Even though they gave you the hints, I did not pick up what they were putting down until like the very end, when it was basically when the people found out, I guess, right? Cuz like they the squad, the Gen Vers, they find out that the old wrinkly guy that Cypher is taking care of, like Kevin said, doing like jazzercise with, is Godolkin. They find out that it is Godolkin, but they don't connect the dots that he's doing anything, and neither did I guess. So I didn't even find out then, right? Because they just find out that it is Godolkin, and they're like, we're gonna go rescue him and see if he'll help us get rid of Cypher. And then they find out,
Epic fail. Yeah,
the
and
raisin.
those clues were laid out over time. Like, there's the few different moments where the one I'm thinking of is with Polarity, where he takes the knife and holds it at Cypher, who just grabs it and stabs it into his own hand, and things like that. There's also, as they are
Right.
discovering, yeah, like part of what what led them to realize that Godolkin would be that old man was them talking about how after all those years, Cypher was able, because in their prison, all of the stuff, the shock collars, a lot of those gadgets were original blueprints of Godolkin from the 40s, 50s, whenever it was. And so, yeah, it's one of those that almost makes you feel a little dumb when it's finally revealed. You're like, oh yeah, it was right there, wasn't it? Like they were kind of telling us the whole time.
I should have assumed that the guy, like, because this is what The Boys is all about. Everyone's shit. They're all shit. Everyone's shit. Even the group of Gen Vers, I guess we'll talk about it at some point. They're kind of all shit. They're kind of all shitheads, and they're kind of all disregard for each other and life in general. They don't care. They're shit. They're all shit. So, having said that, like, I should have assumed that the dude that they like made the whole college after, named it after, and everything was gonna be a complete shit. He was gonna be a fucking crazy Nazi or something, which is exactly what we're going for here.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's hard to use the comic as reference material because it's gone so far off of that path. And to be fair, I think the show is better. I think there were certain parts of the comic that were just sort of, I guess, crass for the sake of being it, where it's like you said, if this show is about everybody being shitty, the comic, that is absolutely the point. It's just Garth. I just hate everyone. I hate all superheroes. I hate all people. And I'm going to show you issue after issue that everybody sucks and no one has any redeeming qualities. Barely even wee lad Huey. But the Godolkin in the comics is a much more direct homage to Professor X, Charles Xavier. And It's a
I
way
didn't think about
worse
that.
situation in the comics. Like in the comics, there's the G-men who compete with the Seven, but then they also have their sub clusters. So you have G-Wiz, which is like the young kids, and hold that thought. They and then they have like West Coast G or something. It's all very on the nose with like, hey, we're doing an X Force Excalibur, play off of all this, but it ends up being that Godolkin in the comics is a well, how do I put this, Danny? If it weren't for Vought covering up his bad deeds, he would be in a registry. He wouldn't be allowed to live even or be within 1,000 feet of his own school. He is
Oh,
somebody that Chris Hansen would ask to take a seat
is he on the
in the
Epstein list?
comics. He might in that universe, he might be Epstein. It's pretty bad. And it's a whole thing that Vought is well aware of it in the comics, but because it's such a massive marketing and money making machine, they are content to let it go until Silver Kincaid, I believe, and basically a one of the former G-men or former God U grads who's currently a G-men, she sets herself on fire, end games. And that's what leads the boys to look into Godolkin. And then as they're finding out, spoiler alert for the comics, as they are finding out and the boys are ready to go take down all of the G-men, Vought rolls in with the military and with helicopters and just kills everyone associated with the G-men, Godolkin included. And the main Vought boss is like, we'll clean up our own mess kind of thing. So it's just it was sort of the world was becoming aware of the story, and so they snuff it out themselves. It's almost kind of used just to build up Vought in that moment. So I say all that to say you'd be hard pressed to look at the show and have any idea one way or the other if Godolkin was going to be a large character or if they were just going to use the God U thing so that they would have their soup university and all of that stuff. So I enjoy feels like a weird word when you say these, but I appreciated, I guess, that the Godolkin was used as a larger villain, even though we got it for, I think, one episode, right? Like he's
Guy,
here
I guess.
and he's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a good way to go about it. Although the Cypher character was a whole lot of fun, maybe my favorite character of this season. So getting into all that was pretty incredible. And then we of course have Sage involved with him too. So there's a lot of
That
crossover
was an
there.
interesting development as well. Another crossover. We get what's her Sister Sage is her full
Oh yeah,
superhero.
yeah, Sister Sage.
And she's the genius level soup. She's got the to enjoy sex at the ice pick my brain thing going on. The fuck, she's definitely into, like, why is she's the genius whatever, but like her number one driving factor seems to be getting fucking banged out, isn't it? Like that's like the main thing her character's done in the show and in this.
We got the Deep, we got Black Noir, right? And then we got
Homelander is
Godolkin.
like
Maybe Homelander too.
maybe Homelander. I don't know, but I guess she's just working in conjunction with him. We don't know if they're like banging it out yet, but yeah, she's definitely she's the promiscuous one out of all. It's just like we didn't see Maeve fucking around as much as like we've got Sister Sage doing right now, right? Or maybe I'm misremembering?
No, I think you're right, which is funny because in the comics, I think that's Maeve's only character trait is that she fucks around. So she's even banging the old dude who's like the Stan Lee sit-in. He's like 80 years old out here banging that dude in the comics. So, but yeah, I do. I think she has a few friends around, but it was interesting to see because obviously we know she pulled all of Homelander strings in that last season. He's got that moment where he's breaking down. The plan completely failed, and she's like, "No, you being an idiot was also part of the plan. Here's the Speaker of the House. He's on the phone waiting for you. So I did find it interesting, and I don't know if this was a flaw in the logic for this character, but the fact that she didn't see that coming. Obviously, she knew that Godolkin was behind Cypher the whole time, because by the time Godolkin's a real guy, she's like, move into my apartment with me. So that lets me know that like she knew that wasn't really Cypher when they were
Right.
banging it out that one time. But it like shouldn't she have been able to see that this dude, like, he never once talked about culling the herd
Right.
before, like, before the penultimate episode? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a way more evil plan than the one I told you about. It was just
Was
sort
it,
of
I guess, was it supposed to be a kind of thing where she just has like two different plans firing off and she's gonna kind of like ride the wave? You know what I mean? Because she's got Homelander over here and this situation going on, and she's got very well control over that and the boys. But then here with this guy, it's like maybe Godolkin succeeds in doing some shit that I vibe with, and maybe she's like hedging her bets. She's like, oh, well, at least I'm on the right side.
I guess
If
that's
I
true.
have to, you know.
I guess that's true. That would position her to where one of the two of them is going to win, and either way, she's going to be their right hand, which some would say is the most powerful position to be. Like, that best place to be is to have the ear of the most powerful person in the world, because
Yeah.
you get a lot of the same power and authority and none of the public presence and scrutiny that comes along with it. So if we think about that, so Godolkin's plan is to power up Marie so she can get super healing strength and that she can heal him and allow him to then they're going to level each other up, right? In the final episode, they go into it. They have those fights. They do the whole press the button across the hall exercise again. And he talks about that's his whole concept for growth with he's pushing these soups to the brink, and so that's how they level up and become stronger. And so I believe the plan was, I'll level her up, she'll heal me, then we'll fight, I'll level up, and if she agrees with me, great, then I'll have this person that can just heal me all the time, and eventually I'll be able to, I think his goal was, if I can mind control Marie to then always heal me, I'll also be able to mind control the other Odessa child, which is Homelander. And then ultimately I'll be untouchable because I'll have the big brute Homelander to do my dirty work. And I'll have Marie, who has the same powers as Newman. We remember how devastating Newman was to the early seasons, being the head popper. So there's a bunch of other aspects to Marie's abilities that, well, we did see. We saw it there finally at the end. But she's got such a wide range of powers that, yeah, it would be all Godolkin's game after that. So I just kind of a risky spot for Sage. I don't know. Maybe she's too smart for her own good in that instance. She got really
the sun.
Yeah, dude. She got bailed out on this one because she was in a no-win situation. Homelander's blowing her up, and this dude just revealed he was as crazy. I can't even say more crazy. Like, he sounds like it's exactly the guy they told us he was from the 50s. Like, he didn't change at all. So why you thought this was a good idea is beyond me. But she is saved by Marie. I think you might have mentioned this. I can't remember if it was pre-show or during the show, but do you think Sage is getting set up to become a Starlighter with all of this stuff going on, or is she still going to be a foil for the boys in the final season of all of this?
That's kind of interesting. I feel like if her allegiance change, it's going to be a late game thing. Like, I feel like she maybe will decide that it's more like I was kind of just saying with Godolkin and shit, where she'll hedge her bets and decide that it's better off for her to side with the boys or the other team than it is with Homelander. Something's going to happen there where she's like, okay, this isn't the way to go. He's cracked. But I don't think that she'll like like we see a lot of the Starlighters this season. First, we see Starlight come into the show. She talks to Marie. She tries to recruit her. It doesn't happen. And then towards the end, it's basically like they all convene together. So it's the Gen V group is now saved and recruited by the Starlighters. And we also see A Train. But anyways, what was I saying? Like, I don't think Sage is gonna join up with that group and just like try to mastermind something to beat Homelander. I think that they'll do their thing, and eventually, when the heads are butting, when Homelander's fighting with them or whatever, she's got the, she pulls the switch and fucks him over, or she switches sides and then he lasers her brain off or something, something like that.
Okay. So, and this is just what I'm rooting for, not what I have any evidence to back. So,
Okay.
full disclosure, what I would love to see is some sort of like double bluff situation where she appears to have turned over to the good side, and then after everything happens and maybe there's a new seven and she gets made to be the head of that new seven because she's changed, right? She's seen the error of her ways, and the seven, it's not going to be the machine just carries on. There's going to be a new day for the seven. We've got a new leader, and it's Sage. And then we find out that like this was actually all her plan the whole time. You know what I mean? Like all the way back to season 1, she's been doing some wild, crazy stuff. Or honestly, I'm just looking forward to her walking up right after Homelander's been defeated, probably eating a popsicle because she just gave herself a lobotomy. And those are my favorite scenes with her, when she's like has clearly dumbed herself down. But yeah, simple Sage, but she's still smarter than half the characters in the show.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Sage, we'll see what happens with her. Can we rewind a little bit to what we were talking about there? We were talking about kind of how Godolkin obviously was positioning himself to overtake Homelander, I guess. And he's discussing this with Sage throughout the season. And you described it as, okay, he was all about the level up thing. So all season it was all about like he's training all these guys to like and doing some like crazy ass like pinning them against each other, life-threatening training to unlock their powers, to deepen their strength, whatever. So he was Cypher, Godolkin as Cypher, the whole season was training up Marie, essentially, like an RPG style. And then she goes from not being able to heal stuff like Kate, which I think we should talk about that scene at some point and how that developed.
Oh yeah.
But she couldn't do some things with like Kate, and then eventually her sister gets her throat slit and almost dies, and she can blood magic her sister back to life or whatever. So he's leveling her up so she can essentially bring people back to life or save them from dying. And then was Godolkin planning? This is, I guess, my question ultimately. Was Godolkin planning to use her as like, okay, well, I can't get fucked up because I got the blood person on my side? Or was like he trying to get her powers to be so powerful where he could control her and then just like blow up Homelander or something, theoretically? Like I was kind of thinking about what was his plan ultimately, because you had also said, yeah, well, if he can take over the one Odessa project, which would be Marie was the last one and the reason why they shut it all down or whatever. Whereas Homelander and was Stormfront also one of these Odessa?
I know Stormfront and Soldier Boy are V1, like the original. Right. That's why they're both ageless too, whereas Homelander had a gray pube that one time, right? So like the formula had been altered at some point throughout all that stuff.
But that's kind of what I was wondering, like what was Godolkin's outcome in the end. He was just going to puppet these people and use them to his advantage that way, or was he going to use Marie to kill Homelander? Like that's what I kind of was lost on all that, because he obviously is playing Cypher as Godolkin, is obviously playing up Marie the whole time, saying you're the most powerful, you're going to be the best, whatever, blah blah blah.
You're the chosen.
And he's doing that to like to convince her kind of that she is that good, whatever. But I was wondering if it was just that he's like using it as a tool to like convince her to keep going. You're the best. Keep, you can beat him, of course. Or like, did he really mean that like once her power gets strong enough, you could actually blow Homelander up or something? Like, I don't know. I was confused on all that.
That could have been it. And also it could have been like little column A, little column B, right? Could have been a backup plan. So, okay, like the main plan is if I can take over Marie and control her, then I should be able to also control Homelander. And then they're just useful meat puppets for me. But as a backup plan, if it doesn't work, maybe like you said, Marie could be used to pop Homelander's head. I was leaning towards the first one because I guess I never put that together. I assumed based on the fact that Newman had never popped Homelander's head already that he was just too strong for something like that, or she wasn't strong enough.
She's not Odessa.
That's right. She is not Odessa.
Some chump.
So you could be right. It could have just been she would be my ultimate weapon, and then there'd be no need for Homelander. So I may have misread the room.
And is that Nick? We do respond to comments. So if you've got a question or something, go ahead and ask. But that's kind of what I was thinking. Like Marie is like a juiced up version of what's her nuts. Like you said her name just now, and I can't remember it.
Newman.
Newman. She's like a juiced up. Could Newman do all the stuff that Marie showcases? Like, can she like fucking see if they're a soup with their blood and like lift somebody up, or like cut herself and do blades and stuff like Marie can do? Because all she did was pop their heads.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think she could hold up a whole goat like it was a bag of blood. I don't think she had leveled up that far. But when she reveals to Marie that they have the same power, she does it by just cutting a little line in her hand and then
I forgot
up.
Right, yeah.
So I think she can do some of it, and I think and I don't know that the answer's been laid out for us, but I'm sort of thinking about it now as, well, she was raised by Stan Edgar, so maybe she wasn't shown the full range of her powers. Maybe it was sort of, what's super useful for us? You blowing up people's heads. So we're going to get you really good at that. And that's all you know how to do. So I don't know. I am going to assume, Danny, that you're right, that Marie could do everything Newman could do and then some, and that this was sort of the maybe the first opportunity. So maybe she could. And I guess we'll find out. That might be what the final season of The Boys is leading to. Is it going to be a showdown of Marie versus Homelander? And
that would be so weird. She just
popped Godolkin's head, but he clearly is not indestructible in the same way that Homelander was.
Yeah.
A little fire took him out for 60 years. He ain't that tough.
Right. I feel like they can't have Marie swoop in to The Boys and then be the ultimate weapon linchpin. Like, I feel like the Gen V's involvement in The Boys needs to be minimal at best. Like, they can be around. I mean, maybe like the main characters like Marie gets some like actual screen time. She does something for real. She actually does something instead of like, I doubt they'll bring the whole cast to actually come in and do shit. But
some of them have to just be like meaningful deaths, right? Like some of them have to
be
so we lose some characters, but without losing the main cast. That's what part of it feels like. Like, oh, these guys have been added to the group. It's, sort of like a Walking Dead episode or something. Like, yeah, here's the fodder. These two are going down. But I agree with you. I think it has to end with either Huey or Starlight. That's where it all began, right? Those are
Right.
the two that had their immediate grievances were shown in the first episode. How they have fallen victim to the machine. So I think in order for it to go full circle, it will come down to those two or one of those two. I agree with you. It probably would rub a lot of fans the wrong way if you introduced these college kids halfway into the show and then built them up in their own show and then said, "Oh, they're the real heroes now."
Yeah.
That might be a little unfulfilling, to be honest.
So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with all of them. And plus, like, let me tell you, I guess what I was kind of getting to too after we talked about Marie for a bit and this Kate situation where I wanted to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
We see in like the first episode, right, that Kate walks up on who is it? Emma, Marie, and the gender swapper.
Jordan?
Jordan. And like overhears them talking about their nefarious deeds or whatever. I forget what it is she hears that they're like, oh shit, she can't know that. Probably something about Cypher because she's like tight with him, whatever. And they blast her ass. She gets blown against the wall and brain damage, dead practically. Like I think they said she was gonna die, right? Except some other people rescue her, but they blast her ass, and then they're like, oh, okay, Marie, here's your moment. You got to save her. You know, you got to fix it with your blood powers. And she tries her little voodoo, and it doesn't work because she hasn't been leveled up yet by Godolkin. That was just. I mean, before we go into more of Marie's power and what that's gonna mean ultimately, that whole sequence was fucked up for me. I was like, damn. That's what I'm talking about. They're all shitty. Like they just blow her up.
Yeah, Jordan just blasts her into her head into the wall. And I think
they left her for dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say there wasn't too much of a fight as far as like trying to stay back and save her. I mean, to be fair, Danny, she was the reason that they were all kept in that horrible prison. And so
true.
I can understand, especially if
but they're all the characters that people.
Yeah, none of them is. I think that's what's good about it. Like none of them is that untouchable, always good. There's no Superman in the group. There's no oh, this person's always going to do what's right. They sort of set Marie to be that way with Godolkin laying the trap for her and everything. But even her sin, I guess, at that point is hubris because it's clearly Godolkin winding her up and telling her like, you're the chosen one, you have to do this, knowing that if the rest of them were there, the odds of him succeeding are significantly less. And so he's like, I got to get her to believe she's the only one so that she'll damn near kill her own friends just to make sure that somebody else doesn't kill him. You know, like you could see sort of her flirting with the dark side in that moment when she decides to just lift them all up. And it's like, oh, all right. And for a second there, I thought, I was like, oh, this is the boys. Like this is about to get real dark. They set us up for 2 seasons thinking this was going to be another hero character. And then in the last 90 minutes, they're going to be like, actually, new villain. Here's Marie. Isn't she devastating? That's where I thought they were going when she started to do all of that. But yeah, like you said, nobody, I think, who is the best character, Danny? Is it Emma? Is she
Emma
like
the most innocent? She's just a party girl, okay?
She's like our moral compass.
She's anxious, you know, it affects her powers. She's got to deal with that. You know, her growing and shrinking, her purging, and blah, blah. Emma's like the best written character in the show, at least for like, I mean, maybe not like, I guess I mean good character, best written good character. Like she's the closest we get.
Yeah, because she starts her own little ragtag. You know, she starts her own little what do they call it? Gee whiz. You know, she's got her own little side crew of what Godolkin would see as like the worthless soups. You know, she's got those 2 friends of hers. I can't remember the one's power.
The one tail chick and the copycat chick.
Oh, it was the copycat. That's the one I couldn't remember. I was like, obviously, one has memorable powers. Of all the powers, could you imagine, dude, if you're one of these Vought parents and you paid all this money or whatever you did to try to have your kid injected so that they might. I don't know why you would do that in the first place. It's hard to even get there, but they're like, okay, cool. Either you wait 12 years or something, however long it takes for them to start growing into their powers. You find out your kid's power is just, oh yeah, I can grow my pubes out as long as I want and do whatever with them. Like, man, it's way too late to get a refund at that point. But hey, thanks to Emma and Emma's belief in her, she becomes a hero. So yeah, that's got to be that's our true hero of this show, at least of this season. It's Emma.
Yeah. So yeah, Emma's the only good one, I guess, but still she's involved with the kill. They just casually like, well, I can't do anything for her. I'm not even gonna call an ambulance for my friend Kate here.
Yeah, that's true. She was also the one who was meanest about the Kate stuff, where she's like, I don't give a shit. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, right. But no, and so the Kate situation was fucked up, but this is kind of where I want to go with the conversation and Marie's powers here. Because I personally thought there was a point where, like, it wasn't that point, because with Kate, she couldn't do shit. It was with her sister. So there is a point in the season where Cypher Godolkin has captured Marie's sister that she's been looking for, who's also a soup, I guess, has superpowers. And I guess we'll get into that too. Both of these sisters have completely just batshit powers. Like, if they knew how to use them properly, obviously, like these two sisters have the best powers in the fucking show so far, practically. The two of them. But anyways, the sister gets her throat slit by Godolkin in a cell, and Marie and the group stumble upon her or whatever and have to save her, or don't stumble upon her, but they get to her and they have to save her from dying. And then that's when Marie unlocks the powers. She can revive you from a throat slit off the ground. She can reverse your blood back into you or whatever, yada, yada. And then even after this, we see that she can restore Godolkin from a wrinkly California Raisin member to
Polarity too, yeah,
to back to normal. Polarity, she can fix his brain damage. Kate, she ends up fixing her brain damage and her power. You know what I'm saying? So basically, where I'm going with this is, like, I thought that they were going to kill her off. I thought they were going to kill Marie off, because it's like one of those where her power is just too much. Like, especially with the way Godolkin was talking about it or whatever. Like, I don't know whether he was planning on just puppeteering all these powerful people, or if he was using Marie's power to end Homelander's reign. I don't know what he was going to do exactly. But if that was the case, and if he was going to use her powers to control the situation, that means she's just got completely whacked out powers. And like, next, when she's in Gen V, who's going to stop this blood power lady? Huey gets his leg chopped off. We're good. We've got Marie, you know. Right. Somebody gets their throat slit. We got Marie. It's good. Oh, Homelander's here. Well, she can fucking hold him still like a blood bag, and he can't do anything. It just seems like she's too much, too overpowered to bring into the main series, but they did, and they're going to. And I think that because they didn't off her in Gen V, I think that she's going to be one of those that you were describing earlier, Kevin, where she was holding everybody up and you're like, uh-oh, it's one of these dark moments. You know, she was about to kill them all or whatever we thought. It didn't happen that way. But I think she will be one of those kills where in The Boys, it'll be something shocking and she gets offed. And we're affected by it because we've had 2 seasons of Gen V with her. You know, we're going to feel the weight of it when she does pass. I think they're going to smoke her.
You know, I like where you're going with that. I think that is a good possibility. Now, my thoughts are, will we see it? Like, will we see her be too useful for a minute? Like, will she heal one of the main boys And then from that, that will then either they're going to kill her in like the very first episode, right? Because that's the kind of thing this show would do, right? For the
Right.
shock factor of it and be like, oh, you thought, we put you through 2 seasons of building this up as one of our new main cast members. No, she's gone in the first 30 minutes because that would be too easy. Like Danny said, that would be too easy.
Right. Imagine
Or
they smoke them all right at the beginning. Like they're like, oh, you thought Gen V was going to come over and be important in the boys, and then every single Gen V member is just smoked for whatever reason. I don't know how they'll do it. You know what I mean? Homelander just comes in and tears them all up, or something. But we could have a situation like that where it's like Omni-Man with the Super 7 or whatever, and Invincible. He just blows all their asses up.
it could be, and especially I think it's worth noting when we keep in mind how Godolkin's whole leveling up experiment and thought process, that Homelander, it is called out, I think at the very end of season 1, before they roll credits, that everybody was impressed that Marie even survived that attack from Homelander. So one of two things happened: either he held back and didn't use the full force, or he did and she just survived it. And Homelander's not the type of guy I think that would want someone like that floating around that would be impervious to what he can do. So either he would have a plan for somebody else to take care of it, or I mean, look at how long he's hunted Billy Butcher and the boy. Like they don't even have powers. There's no way that Homelander would be just sitting back and letting Marie continue to develop. So once he hears about all of this Godolkin stuff, because he's going to hear the real story, not the one that they repackage for the public, I do think she would be right in his sights. So I could see it being something that either she's gone in the first episode, or early on in the season, something happens. Like you said, Huey loses a leg or something, and then she heals it. Because I'm wondering, there's probably going to be some fans of the boys who didn't watch Gen V.
Right.
Not everybody's going to know. So there's going to have to be a moment where you show the main audience what her power set is, what she can do. So I wouldn't be surprised if she does one really awesome thing that saves some lives within the main group to keep them alive. And then shortly after, she's gone. We got to snuff that out. Like you said, it almost just makes it too easy for a final climax to have an ace up your sleeve like Marie Moreau. So I could see that being a thing where she is gone very quickly in all of this, with Homelander coming after her. I had another thought, Danny. I lost it though. So what else do you want to talk about when it comes to this?
There's two, I guess, bigger questions I have. One being the sister. Okay, like I said, both Marie and the sister have hacked powers. The sister has future sight, whatever you want to call it.
Precog. Shout out to Philip K. Dick.
There you go. She's a precog. But like, it's one of those where it's obviously so shit. Like her power sucks ass right now. She's just like, I feel like this was a trope in like early 2000s TV shows where there would be like characters that get like, I'm having a vision. Ooh, like every show has like the character that I'm having a vision. Oh, and then they can't control it, but right now I'm having a vision. It's that power. What I'm thinking of specifically, and these shows kind of remind me of, is Buffy and Angel from like early 2000s, 90s, whatever. And they had Angel, there was like a whole storyline where like there was some connection to godly powers that were orchestrating everything in the background. And those people would send a character visions. Okay. And like it was the one lady for the longest time, she had the visions. And then when she died, they gave the visions to somebody else, whatever. But it was this just whole plot, this same kind of power, the same kind of like plot device where it's somebody has visions, but it could never be worth a shit. Like they're never going to evolve old girl's power to be like, oh, she she can actually be helpful.
Yeah, how do you train that power? It's like, okay, well, your job is to just always be taking naps and then just let us know what the
What's up?
nightmares are. Like, yeah, how do you train to be like, all right, we need you to think about Huey and Starlight and just dream about them for a while and let us know what their fate is. And then there's the whole other aspect to it, which is just like the precogs. All right, listen, I don't want to get too sci-fi with everybody, but if you remember Minority Report, there were 3 precogs. That's why it's called a Minority Report, because only one of the 3 would see that particular. I don't want to get through the whole thing, but the idea is that there are multiple future paths. So what you're seeing, the fact that you've seen it and call it out, like theoretically, somebody takes a step to the left instead of a step to the right after you've told them that, you could have completely changed any possibility. Or as in this case, your vision actually leads you to go exactly where you're not supposed to go, to put you right in the position where the bad thing might happen. Like, oh shit, we're actually here. So I wonder. I'm not a big fan of those type of powers because it I don't know, I don't love it for plot's sake when you have a character that's foreshadowing some of the stuff and then they're like, this is it. This is the dream. Where it's just like, all right, yeah, I know, because I knew what room it was the first time you showed it, because you've shown us that stupid window 15 times before you, like, we knew, like, you did a great job of setting it up, but of course they have to in case any of us are falling behind on the back of the bus, they're like, hey, by the way, this is the thing she was dreaming about, just so you know. So I don't think it's the most useful plot element. And we'll see. I do agree. I don't know how you refine that. How do you make that power any better? And is it only going to be regulated to her own loved ones? Because if that's the case, she's basically just Marie's personal spider sense. She's not going to help anybody else. Like, what does she care what happens to A Train? Right? She can be having nightmares about, don't go there, A Train. I don't know.
I fear that they're gonna set us up for another classic one, because yes, the fucking precog thing is a classic. Like tons of shows like this have a fucking precog like that. And I just watched I watched somebody on YouTube do a review of all of the Twilight movies.
Oh,
and I forget who it was that I was watching, but they did a review of all the Twilight movies, and I'd never seen them before, so it was all new information to me. And then, like, the later Twilight, because all the vampires have stupid ass dumb powers, whatever. One of them has a precog power, of course. One of the vampires can see in the future or whatever. And they set up this, and I feel like this is also a classic, like, reused kind of scene with a precog, where they vision. You don't know you're in a vision, but they're seeing a vision. And then you see everything happen. So everybody gets killed. Homeland, she has a vision. Homelander flies in. He fucking zaps everybody's brains out or whatever. And then she's like, goes back to, now she's in present time. Oh, Homelander's coming. Oh no.
It was all a dream.
And they had to and they switch course somehow, and somehow some of them live and some of them don't, or whatever the fuck. Like, that's what I feel like they're setting us up for.
Hey, you 100% mark this down so you can come back to it later and say, I told you so, because they're absolutely going to do that. Think of the times they did it with just Homelander being in his own mind and him imagining the things that he would want to do, and then be like, oh no, he didn't actually just laser beam a crowd of people. So they're definitely going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised any of the season or an episode starts with that, where you've got this huge epic fight and all this crazy stuff happens. I think I know the scene that you're talking about, or that you're referencing with Twilight. I also have not seen any of the movies,
but I've heard the guy's head off or something.
Yeah, there's like this epic battle, and it's just, and none of it means anything. I'm like, man, sorry I missed out on that. That sounds like fun.
So I just have one final thought, one more question for you, Kevin.
Yeah.
On the Gen V, on the boys. Okay, is our solution, or how, or maybe just how this would go down, Kevin? What if Sister Sage comes up with a brilliant plan, or let's just not even say her, because she's on Homelander's dick, so that's not going to happen. But let's just say they come up with the genius plan to get Black Hole Butthole to swallow Homelander up. Do you think there's this? Do you think his power works? Because we saw them like climbing out of his asshole, like Ace Ventura style. You know what I'm saying? They're like coming out, and if they like. If he like what was this on South Park when Mr. Slave sits on top of Paris Hilton or whatever and he spins around and he just engulfs her whole body in his butthole. You know what I mean? If they butthole Homelander, swallow him whole in the black hole butthole, does he like rip him in half and rip his way out, or is he stuck in the infinity butthole until, you know, old boy can't hold it any longer?
I think he would use what I'm going to coin as the Chipotle strategy and just fire his hot lasers right at the exit until old boy just has no choice but like, I gotta get rid of this. This cannot stay here.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, that's how I think. And I would love it if they attempt that. All right. Even if it's just a deleted scene, to, just film it all for Danny and I's entertainment later. All right. Make Black Hole a key to the final battle. Maybe that can be the dream sequence. She's like, guys, we can't send Black Hole out after Homelander. It's not going to work. I know we thought this was a really good idea, but it's not going to work.
They like drop Black Hole in front of Homelander's flight path or whatever out of an airplane. Like he's moving too fast. He doesn't see it coming. And he just shoop right into the asshole, dude. Now you're stuck in infinite asshole land. Okay. What are you going to do now?
It's flying around too. And that, again, it's the white room from the Matrix. Anybody, so he's just going to be flying through in this endless space, nothing but white lights everywhere. Going to be horrifying for
He's just keeping
Homelander.
stuff up there. He's just keeping stuff up there.
He's like an actual weapon locker. Like, Matrix jokes aside, he's like, hey, I got 2 duffel bags full of artillery.
It's the like RPG character, bottomless fucking bag or whatever. You have infinite spaces in your bag. He can just put whatever he wants in his asshole, and then he reaches up there and rummages around, and he's like, here it is. I told you I had a police badge up there somewhere,
Oh, I can just see it now. He's going to get paired up with Frenchie, and something's going to go wrong, and Frenchie's going to have to go in to find what he needs.
Reach up.
Yeah, they always put Frenchie through hell, man. They're like, what's something really awful we can make this guy go through? Let's get him lost in the black hole. Black hole's B-hole.
Yeah, but no, there you go, Kevin. Hell yeah. That's really all my thoughts about Gen V. It was really all about Black Hole for me and the infinite butthole. That was really the highlight of the season.
A one-stop shop. I like it. Okay, so I have maybe one question, but it's a 2-parter. Because I think depending on how you feel about part 1, it will definitely impact your answer to part 2. So as a whole, pun absolutely intended. All right. As a black hole, what do you think about Gen V? Do you like this idea, the way now that we've seen how it was utilized, not only to fill some gaps in between seasons, but to introduce new characters, expand the universe, and now they're going to plug it back into the main timeline? Did that work for you? Did you enjoy it? Are you happy that you watched Gen V, or was this maybe a little too much? And should they have waited to just run through the show that you're doing and then do a spinoff? What are your thoughts?
You had some kind of analogy, I think, pre-show, or made some kind of comparison to the Marvelization of it all. And you had said that they're doing a prequel series, Vought Rising or whatever, and that's going to be with like whatever the guy, super soldier guy was, and Stormfront. Soldier Boy, yeah. Soldier Boy. Yeah, what give me a break. You're supposed to roll your eyes, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, he was in the comics, he was like probably one of the worst as far as just making fun of it, what it was paying homage to. But Jacob came back with milk and cigarettes.
There we go.
Never thought we'd see you again.
Yeah, like if they go with how it is right now and how they did Gen V, like you said, in the gaps or whatever, and it expanded it and they brought it back around, I really like that. I really like that. I like how they did it. That is like connected universe enough. The shows are different enough. They can have different plots or whatever and kind of come back together, coalesce at the end. I like that a lot. And I made the comparison when I was talking about stupid tropes with like the precog thing to Buffy and to Angel or whatever, but that show kind of did this same thing where Buffy was the main show, and then they eventually let him go Angel off from Buffy into his own show, and then the difference there was is that they had crossover episodes. So there would be like episodes of Angel where Buffy would come over and there'd be a Buffy episode or whatever, and vice versa. Okay. And those characters would intermingle that way. Gen V didn't get to do it that way. The shows weren't actually airing concurrently like they were back then. You know what I'm saying? Like they were airing at the same time. So it made sense to do it that way. Whereas now it's like a whole season airs and then a different season of Gen V airs kind of thing. So they couldn't cross over episodes, but I do like the commingling of the series, and they're different enough that maybe I like Gen V because of the way it is with the younger characters or whatever, but it brought me into the boys because of its different vibe. I feel like that could be a successful thing. Although I don't know. I do wonder if Gen V is enough of its own thing to where that really somebody watched that and they're like, oh, well, now I gotta watch the boys. Like it is interesting to speculate on that. I doubt, but
That's a great point. I hadn't really thought of it that way. You might not be bringing in too many new fans with the show like that. It's sort of like you're narrowing down your niche. It's like, because we talked about it before, how in the next season of The Boys, they will probably do some last time on or introduce certain powers to the main audience because not everybody would watch Gen V. It's not, that's not required viewing. You talked about Marvel, DC. I'm uh, despite my better judgment, I'm still a fan of those franchises. And I've not and never plan on watching every single MCU movie. So you're not going to get everybody to stay on. So I wonder if it did anything to expand. I agree with you as far as it expanding, adding depth to the story. I thought it worked pretty well, but it only works as a sidecar to the boys. I don't know that it works as its own vessel to be like, oh man, yeah, I watched Gen V, but not the boys though. Right? You don't see. I've not heard that in my own personal experience, I guess.
I think if it like leaned into a genre more, that it maybe could have had that effect. Whereas like I think they're both still at their core like superhero dramas or whatever, that's what they are. But if like, and I don't know if I would have liked Gen V as much if it went this way, but like to differentiate the shows and to do some of that, like bringing people over kind of shit that I was talking about, Gen V would have had to been like a different genre to begin with. Like it would have had to been closer to something like like a teen drama with like those relationships and everything meaning more, and the powers are kind of just like a background thing or whatever, to like bring people in that like those kind of shows that like, oh, I love a high school or a college like drama like this, whatever. But they just didn't lean into it that direction. Like, of course it was about college students, but the vibes between the shows basically the same. Am I right?
I agree. Yeah, and then the whole point of Godolkin is to be in the top 10 so you can be chosen for the 7. So it is very much right in line with the main story. I agree. And this is where, and that actually segues perfectly to part 2. And you mentioned this a little bit already, but we're not done getting boys spinoffs because Vought Rising is, I believe, still in line to be made and produced. And that is going to be a prequel set in the 50s that includes Soldier Boy and Stormfront. But according to the article I read, it was pitched as a 50s murder mystery. So that, Danny, maybe, even though we had both questioned it. Are these guys kind of getting a little too meta here, where this whole thing started out as a mockery of Marvel and DC, and here we have them doing a very MCU thing by continuing to expand and add new stories. I hope Garth Ennis isn't writing it. Dude, he's very upset, man. He just hates superheroes a lot. But with it being a murder mystery set in a different time, yes, Soldier Boy and Stormfront, both pretty important characters to the overall story, but they didn't have terribly long runs. I think Stormfront's in there for a season, like she's in season 2 for the most part. And then season 1, I think maybe she's in there, or season 3, she's in there for like one episode. Soldier Boy, same thing. Like you see him in multiple seasons, but he has a limited few episode run.
He's still out there too, right? He's still alive currently.
Yes, season 4 ends with the now president calling Homelander and saying, "I just found out this morning." Like I think maybe the final shot of the season is Homelander staring down at Soldier Boy in his hyperbolic sleep chamber deal. So yeah, he's still in it, probably going to be a part of season 5. So some of this feedback may change if he ends up being a major character in season 5. But although when we talked about this pre-show, I think we both were like, ooh, I don't know, this might be too much too fast. Like let's not go spin crazy here. But the fact that the main show will be done, Gen V will be done, and they're going to jump back to closer to the beginning of the timeline and do a murder mystery. I'm intrigued at least to see how a murder mystery would play out with these unhinged superheroes. Maybe Soldier Boy is a little bit better of a character, like he hasn't just fully lost his mind. We know Stormfront started out as a Nazi, okay, so we know she's going to be a villain. I don't expect to see her be turned into some anti-hero, which is what happens too often, I think, with these prequels, where they're like, well, we got to show you like this character, so we got to do things to make the character likable. Like, no. If it's a villain people are into, just let them stay a villain. We don't need, not everybody needs to be a misunderstood good person that eventually becomes a piece of shit. They could just be a charismatic, show-stealing piece of shit. Like, let that stay, let that linger.
She might be openly Nazi in the prequel series. She could have been probably back then. She could just be openly Nazi.
She would have to be, I would think. Depends on how far back they go, actually, come to think of it. Because if it's set in the 50s, then she's probably already Liberty at that point. So she's already been sort of whitewashed and repackaged as an American hero, would be my guess. And maybe, I don't know, what is this going to be?
I forgot all the technicals of her,
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, but the fact that it has that added twist of, like you mentioned, it's not the same type of show. It's specifically mentioned as a murder mystery. That could be something that opens the door to a new fan base that maybe they normally only watch horror, mystery, suspense type stuff. And so you throw in, or maybe that's more of a detective story, I guess, but maybe they're into that type of stuff. And so they watch this and then, oh, wow. And if it's a great show, I am very happy for those fans. Imagine watching Vought Rising, and then you like it, and then boom, you've got 7 more seasons of a TV show that you can just binge after that. That'd be a great place to be for those folks. But I think while I'm wary of them doing too much too fast, I think I'm here for Vought Rising. Danny, how do you feel about it?
Just I don't want to leave it to only 5 minutes left for Harles here, so
we'll make it run. We'll
extend my answer a little bit. No, but I guess as a it's interesting that it's after everything's going to be done. You know that for sure. It's like going to be after the final season of The Boys.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was making sure we didn't get demonetized.
You know that it's gonna happen after the last season of The Boys, like this Vought Rising thing.
Let me pull it up. I think it's a full year away.
It's it's interesting. Like if it's after, I guess it's all on streaming services. So it's like, it's different than back in the day, how they did these crossovers and they like want you to go watch the other show while it's on TV. Like, it's not that big of a deal that the series is over and then Vault Rising comes out. And then if somebody catches that and they like it and they didn't watch the original series, they can go back and binge watch it all. Like, that's how it works now. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that's coming out after the final season, but it is interesting that it is, because like if the story has completed, I think it's an interesting choice to get people to go back to watch something after like it's definitively done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And just to add a little more clarity, I can't answer completely because there is no release date yet, but because they haven't even started filming it yet. But the project is estimated to start production. Actually, wait, no. Okay, I'm looking at an older one. It's looking an estimate. So what? 2026. I got to look at this. This was a bad article. So I started reading it and then I realized, wait, it's saying 2025. It's saying production starts in August 2025. That already happened. But the first 7 or 8 articles that pull up when you look at this just say there is no release date that has been set.
Okay.
So I believe the fact that, you know, we got Anthony Starr already doing his farewell posts and all this stuff, I believe that the boys will be wrapped and then it will be Vault Rising, but don't quote me on that one.
Well, then we'll see how it goes. I guess I'm gonna watch
and
it.
I
for
do
sure.
agree with what you were saying, though, as far as it being
Go ahead.
perfect. Sorry, I think I was laggy. See, this is why I don't this is why I don't pull up multiple tabs while we're streaming. My old brick computer. What were you saying? I think I'm back on the same time as you now.
Oh, I was just saying that it'll be good eats for us. Vault Rising will be. I mean, like, even if the series is over, I think I'll go watch this weird little murder mystery thing just because I'm intrigued. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Do you think that possibly the Vault Rising prequel could have Godolkin in it?
Ooh.
Is he that old? Is he that old? You know, that's another. I hate to extend the show for Harles.
Don't hate it.
About to, but,
yeah, embrace it.
Was that like? Was Godolkin old, and then Marie unolded him with her powers, like reverse aged him? Because like obviously he burnt up or whatever, but is he not aging like the original people did, like the V1ers or whatever? Does he not age, Godolkin, and he was just burnt up and hurt and he needed healed from that?
Yes. And then there's more to it than that. And I say this as if I penned it. We'll put an asterisk by my answer. But from what we saw, so he was around in the 50s, which I believe, as far as we know, that's the V1 of Compound V. So that's Soldier Boy, Stormfront. Those two didn't age. And one of the things, not only the fire, Danny, but when they finally show us the flashback of Godolkin in that lab, and we all had assumed that it was just burn damage, right? And most of that probably still was. But after he injects himself, if you'll notice, he started to get a bunch of weird sores on his neck and face.
And he does have it on.
Yeah, before the fire even got to him. And then as he was using his powers more and more in the finale, you would see it on his hand. You would see it underneath the shirt. So what I think is, yes, he is ageless in that sense, but there was a physical toll to him using his powers that would have had him scarred up and possibly unable to move at a certain point, regardless of the fire, if he didn't have somebody like Marie around to heal him, because we never did see him heal from using his powers, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think when he started to scab up in the final fight scene, I don't think it ever went away. He would have needed Marie for that. So without her, I think, yeah, he would have been an ageless, I don't know, raisin. What'd you call him? He would have been an ageless raisinette.
California raisin.
Yeah, California raisin. Just all kinds of. I mean, I don't want to say the word that he truly reminds me of, but raisin will work.
Raisin will work. But yeah, no, like I said, Gen V, I think they handled it pretty well. A pretty good, as you said, sidecar to the boys. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they wrap it all up. And heck, I'll watch Vault Rising too. Why not?
Let's go. Yeah, we need to keep at least a couple of IPs around so that we have a reason to bring you on at least once a quarter, right? We got to keep doing.
We can figure something out. We'll get a new show.
We'll get it going. Invincible will be back soon enough, and then we got Fallout. We'll find something else. And hey, James and I have been hitting the horror movies pretty hard lately. So if you get into the spooky mood during these winter months, you let me know, because we're gonna keep those on deck too.
All righty, sounds good to me. We're just Amazon simps, aren't we? Because you were just like, well, at least I am, I guess. I'm the paid Amazon shill on your show, because I'm coming around for Invincible, Fallout, and the boys.
And there's that 2-hour love letter to War of the Worlds that I made, which is basically just an hour, 30-minute Amazon ad. Ooh, Harles with the great question. No, but I am actually going to be watching it right after this, because that, Danny, is what we are reviewing next week is Netflix.
Hell yeah.
I had to make a business decision last night when James and I were done recording. I thought about watching it, but I have this horrible habit. If a movie's any good, I will not go to bed when I should as a responsible adult. And I was like, I'm going to be up till 2 a.m. watching Frankenstein, and then another hour or two thinking about it. So I had to refrain last night, but it is on the agenda for tonight to watch it. You can watch.
Don't let me keep you.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we will get rolling here. Definitely anything like Jacob said, you can watch old TV shows, old movies. Definitely up for it. So
let's rewatch all of Buffy and Angel, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Hey, there we go.
I brought them up twice.
I like it a lot. I've maybe seen 2 episodes.
That's a lot of TV.
A lot of catching up to do. We can hit Supernatural and see Soldier Boy before he was Soldier Boy.
Okay, that's also a lot of TV.
Yeah, dude, we'll be stacked for years at this point. Ooh, X-Files. I like this.
Now that I would be down for. I would be down for X-Files episode by episode review with you, Kevin. Okay, Fox Mulder, fucking David Duchovny is like one of my favorite actors. I love David Duchovny. All right, Californication is like my favorite television show. I would love to watch X-Files and talk shit about X-Files. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe my next co-series with you is we season by season the X-Files. We can even watch the movies and the reboot they tried to do or whatever.
Dude, I love that, man, because then that also gives us a lot more flexibility with when we meet up to do it. We're not sort of trying to watch an episode a week and keep up with what's going on, because I have not seen the X-Files in a long time. I would love to revisit that. So yeah, keep those suggestions coming, whether it's in the live chat or if you're watching this later in the comment section. You can hit us up on either of the Discords as well. Let's go. Just drop it after season 7-ish. Okay, good to know. And Jacob, I have to shout this one out too, because the MASH is my father's favorite TV show, or at least it was when I was growing up. I don't know if I think he's upgraded to, I think The Big Bang Theory might be his favorite TV show now. But when I was growing up, every season of MASH was right there on our mantle. It was great. I knew what my Christmas gift for Dad was for however many years in a row. It's like, we're getting the next volume of MASH, baby. Lock it in. So that is a show that I do hold near and dear to my heart. I couldn't really recap any of it for you, but I love me some MASH. X-Files, put it on our tab, lock it in. We'll keep you updated on when we do that. But
there you go.
Danny, I guess I got to get you out of here so I can watch Frankenstein and get ready for next week. But before we go, brother, any shout outs or anything you want to let the people at home know about?
No, not really. I guess if you're a Clout Route fan at the end, what's up?
What up?
We got Clout Route going on all the time. If you're not a Clout Route fan, go subscribe. And there you go.
That's right. That's right.
That's all I got.
Tuesdays at 6:20 for the Clout Route. So right around, the show starts the same time today's show started. But yeah, be sure to check out our other streams that Danny and I have done together. If you want to check out Late Night with the Devil or any of the other Fallout stuff, go take a look. As I mentioned, James and I have been doing horror movies since about mid-October. So if you're a fan of the 28 franchise or Sinners, if you like weapons, we've got about 9 hours of weapons content. Danny's a big part of that too. So
you do just have a weapons series. Okay, you should just started a weapons podcast.
Should just had a whole weapons dedicated channel. I think I'm done with it now. I think the only time weapons will come up again is when I force James to watch Barbarian, and we can talk about weapons, like the dry run. I feel like that Barbarian was him testing out a lot of stuff that he would eventually use in weapons.
What about when he comes back and does the Gladys prequel series or whatever?
Oh, yeah, we'll be there for that. You know we will.
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope they don't do that. Imagine that. Please don't. Please don't. Don't do it.
See,
you don't need any more Gladys. That was fine. She was fine, okay? That was enough. Gladys.
I'll echo that to some extent. What I said to James last night after we were done talking weapons was, generally speaking, here I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here because I also just said I would watch Vought Rising, but the exception proves the rule. Maybe I'm not always the biggest prequel fan of stuff. Like sometimes, especially with horror, I think horror moves in the wrong direction when it tries to explain too much. I think they're missing out on what makes it fun to be a horror fan, which is to do this type of stuff and have conversations. Well, I think it's this. Well, I think it's that. Well, as soon as you tell me, no, Michael Myers is actually part of some weird witch cult in the 6th installment or whatever it is, like, I'm out now.
No, that was only like the 3rd one.
It's like, he could just be the shape. I like the shape. Why do I need to? I don't need to know. And then don't even get me started on what Rob Zombie did to our boy. But what I will say, don't. That's another 2 hours. But
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Yes. I will say that Krieger and, forgive me, I can't remember the actress's name. I feel like they did a good enough job where I will be rooting for it. Just like I was rooting for Black Phone 2 to do well. And I have no intention of ever watching that movie unless you guys really think I should. But, I will do it for the people. If you want me to do it, I will do it. But I am not sitting here saying, dude, I can't wait to watch Black Phone 2. I don't need it. Right. Not here for it. But I would like it to succeed because good for them. They've earned the right to take another crack at it, I suppose. So Gladys prequel. We will be back for the 4th installment of the weapons series. But I guess we ought to get out of here. That's right. Michael wasn't in 3. You wanna do something in between live streams, guys? Go watch Halloween 3. It's the one with all the masks. Yeah, what was it? Season of the Witch or something? It's great. It's good.
I'm sure it is.
Underrated, honestly. Just ruined by the fact it was titled Halloween. Okay. That's an episode for another day. I will rant about that for 45 minutes at some point. You have my word. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for spending some of your time with us. We will be back next week over on the Clout Route. And I promise to bring Danny back soon here to Dweeb. He has an open invitation, and we'll figure out. We'll get that X-Files schedule lined up for you.
Let's do it.
All right, gang. Good night, everybody.
See ya.